15 most beautiful cities on the world. Cities are often associated with excitement and culture rather than beauty. Yet many of the world's urban hubs rival the prettiest villages and the most striking natural wonders in the looks department. These are the beautiful cities with breathtaking surroundings, or inspiring architecture and landmarks that have stood for centuries. From colorful old towns to sleek modern skylines. Click through this video to take a virtual tour of the most beautiful cities in the world. Number 1. Paris, France. Paris is known as a destination for romance and lovers. But with looks like these, it's the city itself that often steals visitors' hearts. Much of its beauty is boldly on show. From its broad boulevards and the curves of the River Seine to the perfect structure of the Eiffel Tower. There's plenty more displayed in museums and galleries too. Paris shines in all weathers, gleaming in summer, golden-hued in autumn, sparkling with a dusting of snow, and pretty in pink in spring. Number 2. Venice, Italy. It's no surprise Italy has several cities that make our list, and we couldn't leave out Venice. The northern city, built on a lagoon, has long lured lovers, tourists and artists alike, drawn to the unique architecture. Highlights include the Piazza San Marco, dominated by St. Mark's Basilica, Doge's Palace and the looping Rialto Bridge. But really, there's beauty around every corner, in every piazza and every canal. Number 3. Kyoto, Japan. With its temples, shrines and imperial palace, Kyoto looms large in Japanese culture. Though the center is fairly modern, the city's historic districts are as beguiling and beautiful as ever. There's Arashiyama, home to bamboo groves and pagodas. Higashiyama, with cherry blossom trees bowing over the canal and temples lining the foothills. And Gion and Pontokko, where geisha can sometimes be glimpsed emerging from traditional machiya tea houses, and gliding down the narrow streets to their next engagement. Number 4. Barcelona, Spain. Each district of the Catalonian capital has something new to show off. But it's the city's buildings that really make it memorable. The grid-plan streets of the Eixample are enlivened by the sinuous lines of La Pedrera, dramatic spires of Casa de les Punxes and, of course, the city's crowning jewel, the Sagrada Familia, seemingly rising from the ground. Gaudi's masterpiece alone earns Barcelona a place among the world's most beautiful cities. Number 5. Cape Town, South Africa. There's no question. Cape Town is the most beautiful city in southern Africa. At its heart, both literally and figuratively, is Table Mountain, whose flat top has open views across the whole metropolis. On the Atlantic seaboard are white sand beaches and eye-wateringly expensive houses, but there's more variety in the upper city center. Most of the city's historic buildings are here, with architecture reflecting varied African, Asian and European roots. Number 6. Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Sydney positively sparkles with fresh, sleek beauty. From its green spaces and beaches to its incredible architecture, life gravitates towards its natural waterway, Sydney Harbour, where the Sydney Harbour Bridge and Opera House compete for attention. The neighbours are equally pretty, with cobbled shopping streets, Victorian arcades and a patchwork of parks. Topping it off are an embarrassment of beautiful beaches. From small coves around the sheltered harbor to iconic Bondi. Number 7. San Francisco, California, USA. San Francisco has made the most of its privileged spot around San Francisco Bay. With piers jutting into the water and green spaces including the Presidio. A vast and varied park on a former military base and right next to the rust-red arches of the Golden Gate Bridge. But the rest of the city is a stunner too, with pastel houses including the famous Victorian Painted Ladies by Alamo Square. Pictured stacked like rows of wedding cakes clinging to vertiginous streets. Number 8. Rome, Italy. Packed with ancient monuments and picturesque piazzas. Rome's historic core must be one of the world's most seductive. There's the imposing Colosseum. The iconic creamy columns of the Pantheon. The world-famous Trevi Fountain and countless charming squares. The city is so full of beauty and iconic sights at every street corner that it rivals some of the best museums in the world, and it has some of those too. Number 9. New York City, USA. Not all skylines were created equal. Manhattan's jagged, glinting cityscape is one of the world's most famous and recognizable vistas. It looks gorgeous in any light. From the pale haze of dawn to sunset and after dark. When the big city's bright lights shimmer over the broad Hudson River. The beauty doesn't stop there. From the glorious green space that is Central Park and the famous cables of the Brooklyn Bridge to the city's famous brownstones. Every inch is ridiculously photogenic. Number 10. Bergen, Norway. Though it's beautiful in every season, Bergen really comes into its own as the days grow shorter and the snow piles up. Its richly colored houses cling to the mountainsides, seeming to huddle together against the cold. Reflecting perfectly in the clear waters of the North Sea. The Floeben funicular winds its way up to Mount Florian for sweeping views of the city. Bergen may be known as the gateway to the fjords. But there's plenty of beauty to be found within the city too. Number 11. Yorkshire, England, UK. York has an impressive pedigree. Having been founded way back in AD 71 by the Romans. Parts of the Roman city still exist, but the most eye-catching landmarks from the Gothic York Minster to the imposing shell of York Castle are medieval. At its heart is Stonegate, which is lined with independent shops and cafes and has a Roman road running beneath it. The wonderfully named Shambles is another charming street, overhung by half-timbered houses dating back to the 14th century. Number 12. Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Modern and futuristic, Dubai is known for its impressive skyline, luxurious architecture, and innovative urban planning, including the iconic Burj Khalifa and Palm Jumeirah. These cities showcase a diverse range of cultural, historical, and natural beauty, appealing to different tastes and preferences. Number 13. Brugge, Belgium. Brugge's compact size and perfect prettiness can make it seem a little unreal. Like a classic postcard come to life or perhaps a toy town. Albeit infused with the scents of fruit and sweet crepes. The city is characterized by cobbled lanes, canals, medieval spires and looping bridges. Life centers around its squares. Berg, dominated by the 14th century Gothic town hall, and marked home to one of the city's most famous landmarks. Number 14. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik's 13th century old town looks more like an oversized sculpture than a city. From its apricot and honey-hued rooftops to its wide, marble roads, it's almost too pretty to be true. Thick, beautifully preserved stone walls encompass this part with walkways that give clear views in every direction. From hillsides with hotels and houses to the Adriatic Sea, whose sapphire water is dotted with verdant islands. Number 15. Tauranga, New Zealand. With its picture-perfect beaches, colorful street art and green parks complete with palm trees, Tauranga is a perfect chilled-out beachside city. But it's Mount Maunganui, an extinct volcano jutting out into the bay, which really sets it apart. Hiking trails weave up to the summit, which has panoramic views across the city to its white sand beaches and the Pacific Ocean. Thanks for watching the videos. Please subscribe our channel and click the bell icon to receive the new videos on time. YouTube, Cool&hothub.